Hi guys, today I do have the Glaze Magnetix collection for you, swatches, since you've already seen the haul. And I know I don't usually do an intro for my swatch videos, but I've recently learned a few things about magnetic polish, and so I wanted to share that with you guys. If you're one of those impatient people that doesn't want to listen to me talk, I will include an annotation right there to skip ahead to the swatches. But, you know, as much as I love magnetic polish, I really haven't actually worn it that much. I've only worn it as a full manicure 3 times, and all 3 of those were with the Nails Ink colors. So as I was swatching the China Glaze colors, I learned a few things, and with the icing and clairs as well. And the first thing is to do with the drying speed of the magnetic polishes. And what that really affects is how long you need to hold the magnet in place. As you hold the magnet, it's going to form the pattern nearly instantly, but I found the reason that some say to hold it there longer is that for the colors that dry slower, if you move the magnet before you know, like the 10 or 15 seconds that they recommend, the polish is actually still liquid enough that it flows back out of the design. And I think that was part of the problem that I had with the icing and the clairs colors, is that I didn't hold the magnet in place long enough for the design to set. The Nails Ink colors really seem to dry a lot faster, and so you don't have to hold the magnet there quite as long. The second thing is, although, I mean, I kind of obviously realized that all the magnets have different designs, the different brands kind of seem to have a different strength of magnet. And the way I found that is when I went to swatch the China Glaze colors like I normally do with the magnet under the nail wheel so that you guys can see, the magnet was not strong enough to properly do the pattern. And I'll show you an example of that once we get to the actual swatches. But because of that, I ended up having to do the swatches with the magnet held above the nail wheel, and so I didn't record that since there would be nothing to see. Another thing that I want to share with you guys, and there will be a link down in the information box, is that I found a really informative and helpful FAQ, frequently asked questions, on Scrangie's blog. And she has, you know, common problems, what is causing them, and what you can do to fix them, along with, you know, pictures and examples sharing her experience. So if you're having any trouble using the magnetic polish, definitely check out that post. You know, it helped me realize some of the problems that I was having, like I mentioned, with, you know, not holding the magnet in place long enough. And, you know, a couple other problems that I have not personally had issues with, but some of you may have. So there's always new things to learn with nail polish, of course. And when I find something particularly helpful, I really like to, you know, share it with you guys and spread the knowledge around. So, like I said, I won't be showing you the swatching, but I'll just be showing you the different designs with the different colors, and I hope you guys enjoy. Hi guys, before I get started showing you the swatches, I just wanted to quickly mention on my nails is my freehand tiger stripes. I've also had a few people comment that they look like flames, and since I know people will ask, there is a tutorial coming. I just need to get it edited, so hopefully you'll be able to see that this weekend. The China Glaze magnet is in this little horseshoe shape, and it has all 3 of the designs on it. So even if you decide to only pick up one of the colors, you can get all 3 of the designs. The one problem, as I mentioned in the intro, is that it seems to be a little bit weaker than some of my other magnets. So I'm just going to show you guys what that meant for the way I normally show you. As you know from my other magnetic posts, I usually just swatch it right on camera and put the magnet underneath of the nail wheel. And you can see here that, I mean, you get a little bit of an effect, but it's kind of weak and uneven. Whereas if I were to use one of my other magnets, and for this demonstration I'm using one of my magnets from Nails Ink, the effect is a lot more pronounced and detailed. So the other thing I wanted to mention is that, of course, with magnetic polish, a lot is just going to depend on how well you apply the magnet. And the design that I had the most trouble with is the star pattern. And when you hold the magnet over the nail, first thing, of course, is that you need to have a very steady hand. And for these, since they dry slower, you do need to hold it longer. But even if you hold it for a long time, as hopefully you'll see with the star here, it will kind of start to flow out of the pattern. And you can see the star is getting a little bit messier. The lines are kind of becoming not as straight. And the solution I found to that, so that you really keep that definition in the center, is to just lightly blow on the surface after you remove the magnet. I'm not usually a fan of, blowing on nail polish to make it dry faster, but in this case it really does seem to help. So I'm going to get on to showing you guys the swatches of all the colors, and as I mentioned, some of these I got really good application and some not so much. The first I'm going to show you is the Dark Silver Attraction. And you can see that here. And all of them, the patterns are going to be the same order. We have the star shape, the chevron, and then the diagonal stripes. The next is the lighter purple, which is called Drawn to You. And these, I think, were kind of my poorest application, especially on the chevron design. It kind of barely showed up. But it is a very pretty color. The third one is the darker purple Instant Chemistry, and this is one of my favorites. It's a very vibrant color, and I like the way all the designs look with it. Fourth, we have the blue, which is called Pull Me Close, and you can see here that those also turned out really well. You get a lot of contrast between the magnetic areas where it pulls the magnetic particles, and then the normal color, which is closer to what it looks like in the bottle. Then we have the green, which is called Cling On, and this is one of the sheerest colors. All these swatches do have one coat painted down first and that I let dry, and then a coat to apply the magnet. Some of them you probably could get away with just one coat, but the green you definitely need 2 or even 3. And the last color is the gold, called You Move Me, and you can see that here. I'd also like to mention that I do have top coat on top of all these swatches, and as I was applying it, you could really tell the difference between the nails that had the top coat and those that didn't. The top coat just really kind of made the colors pop and made it more vibrant. So I always, of course, recommend a top coat for any manicure or any nail art, but especially with these magnetic polishes, you're going to get a better looking manicure with a top coat and more of that kind of 3D effect to the magnetic designs. So that's all of them for you guys. I will mention that I have also picked up some Layla Magnetics at Ulta. So I'll be having a haul and swatches for those soon too. And like I said, the tutorial for these tiger stripes should hopefully be up this weekend. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and as always, thanks for watching. One more thing. I almost forgot, I wanted to show you guys just a quick comparison between these and some of the other colors I have. This is the pink icing, and you can see it's kind of complementary with the lavender and the darker kind of burgundy purple. The blues, the blue that I have for icing is a much brighter blue than what the China Glaze is. The gold, just show this with the green and the China Glaze gold. It really almost makes the China Glaze gold look like kind of bronze or copper. And the silver, the colors are kind of similar, but the China Glaze is a little bit darker in the spots where you get the magnet. So glad I didn't totally forget to do those, even if this had to go on at the end. So again, thanks for watching.